Today, Christianity touches nearly every corner of the African continent. It comforts the grieving, uplifts the broken, and gives hope to millions. But like many things in history, it did not arrive here by chance. What if we told you that what appears to be a faith of peace and salvation was once wielded as a weapon of conquest? That the story of Christianity in Africa is not only one of redemption, but also one of control? This is that story. Long before the missionaries, there were gods, spirits, ancestors. Africa teemed with sacred traditions, passed down through griots, carved into stone, and danced into the earth. In the thick forests of the Yoruba, oracles guided kings. In the deserts of the Berber, ancient chants echoed over fire-lit nights. In the south, Zulu rainmakers spoke to the skies. Spirituality was not a part of life, it was life. Then came the ships. They came with crosses, not swords, at least, not at first. In the 15th century, Portuguese missionaries stepped ashore the Kingdom of Congo. They brought gifts, holy books, crucifixes, European manners. King Nzinga and Nkuwu converted. So did his court. He took the name João. Baptisms followed. But this was not just about salvation. It was about alliance, trade, power. Centuries later, during the 1800s, Europe returned, not with explorers, but with empires. Britain, France, Germany. Their banners flew. And not far behind, missionaries poured in, proclaiming the gospel to the heathens. They preached of heaven. But their presence helped build a very earthly empire. In village after village, shrines were burned. Priests and priestesses were cast as witches. Children were taken to mission schools. Taught to read, but only the Bible. Taught to write, but only in English, French, or Portuguese. In those classrooms, the map of the world had Europe at the center. God was white. Civilization wore a collar and tie. African gods were erased. African names forgotten. In the churches, hymns replaced drums. Crosses replaced totems. Sins replaced stories. Imagine being told that your ancestors were lost. That your language was primitive. That your gods were evil. Now imagine that message repeated, week after week, from the pulpit, from the classroom, from the Bible. This was not just religion. It was mental colonization. Christianity didn't ride in with the British Army, but it cleared the way for them. It reshaped African souls to see Europe as savior. And in doing so, made colonization seem divine. But not all bowed. In secret, some kept the old ways alive. Ceremonies continued in hidden groves. Names whispered behind closed doors. And then, others took the cross, and made it African. They danced to hymns. They prayed in their own tongues. They formed their own churches, independent, prophetic, free. The Kimbanguists in Congo. The Zionists in South Africa. The Aladura in Nigeria. These were not passive converts. They were spiritual revolutionaries. They said, if God made us, He speaks our language too. Still, colonial powers leaned on Christianity. It softened the resistance. Made people more obedient. Made empire feel like destiny. Churches taught submission to authority. Women were told their place was under men. Christian virtues were twisted to support European dominance. Even after independence, this thinking lingered. In courts, schools, governments, it echoed. Today, African Christianity is booming. Megachurches in Lagos rival stadiums. Gospel music fills the air from Nairobi to Accra. But what's being preached? Is it liberation, or just a new form of control? Many sermons still praise wealth as a sign of divine favor. Some preach European-style values, ignoring African wisdom. Others silence indigenous voices, labeling them pagan. Yet others are decolonizing the faith, writing African theologies, reclaiming forgotten stories, creating a Christianity that honors both the cross and the drum. So, was Christianity a blessing? A curse? Or both? It was used to conquer, but also to resist. It erased, but also gave new voice. It alienated, but also united. The truth is, Africa did not just receive Christianity. It transformed it. Today, when an African pastor preaches in a local dialect, when gospel choirs sing with ancestral rhythms, when a community worships with joy, not fear, we see a new chapter being written. Not a faith imposed, but a faith reclaimed.